I thought it might be helpful for you to have some angle relationship notes as a review. So go through this with me as we do these examples. So there are different types of relationships that angles can have together. One is vertical. So two angles across each other on intersecting lines are always congruent. And we know congruent means equal. So to draw a little example, if I had two lines that were intersecting and this was 60 degrees, then the angle that's opposite of it would also be 60 degrees. That's the relationship that vertical angles have. Working around clockwise, we see straight angles. Angles that measure 180 degrees. Two angles that are supplementary form a straight angle. So for example, if you have a straight line, that's already 180 degrees. A straight line is 180. That's why it's called straight angle, because it's on a straight line. So if I take this and I break it up into two different angles, let's say this is 120, I know this side has to be 60 because the entire line has to add up to 180. Okay, moving down here, supplementary angles. Supplementary angles are any angles whose sum is 180. So you know sum is when you add, the answer when you add. So usually if you have straight angles, they're supplementary. So our example could be very similar to that. We could go this way, and we could say, if this is 50, this is 130 degrees. They're going to add up to 180. They're supplementary. Complementary angles, two angles whose sum, so when you add the two angles, equals to 90. So usually you're going to see like a 90-degree angle. You're going to have that little box that lets you know that the entire angle is 90 degrees because they're perpendicular. And then they might break it up, and they might say that this is 60 and this is 30. They're going to add up to 90. That's complementary. And it's easy to get these two confused. Adjacent angles, two angles that are next to each other and share a common side. So these two are adjacent. They share this side. They're next to each other. These two are adjacent. They're next to each other. But adjacent angles don't have to add up to anything in particular. I can have an angle that's, let's say, that's 80 degrees, and I can make two adjacent angles, and one could be 20 and one could be 60. Like, they're just next to each other. That's all adjacent means. So next to each other, and they share a common side. They have a side in common. Okay, so let's use all this information on the inside now. So you're going to label each of these adjacent, vertical, supplementary, complementary, or neither for all of these. And when you finish 1 through 6, you should check yourself on those. On this side, you're going to write an equation to determine the value of x in each figure. So first you have to understand what's the relationship here. It's a straight line. It's going to make 180 degrees, so these are supplementary. So I have to know that x plus 49 is going to equal 180 degrees. So if I know how to solve an equation, I know how to find x. I have to do the inverse operation. I have to undo adding 49 by subtracting 49 for both sides to find x. On this one, I have to understand this relationship. Remember, this box tells you that it's 90 degrees. So whatever this is plus the 22 should equal 90. And by solving that one-step equation, you'll be able to find what that is. I don't think there's actually an x there. Okay, on this one, you have to understand the relationship. Now, you may think vertical because you're seeing lines crossing, but this is a straight line. This is a straight line. So you got 117 plus something is going to equal 180. If we were looking for something across, then it would be the same. But we're not looking for this one. We're looking for this one. So it's going to be 117 plus something equals 180. And you can solve that. And for this one, they are vertical because they're opposite each other on intersecting lines. So I know that this is going to equal 120. So I'm not asking you what this angle is. We know it's 120. I need to know what is x. So 8x equals 120. And you should be able to solve that one-step equation and find x. Do that and check yourself.